Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My group includes three people. The first one is Huang Wensum, the second one is Li Fangwei, and the third one is Duan Chongwei. We are so glad to be here to talk about our final presentation. Firstly, I want to say thank you for Professor Wang Qinan for supporting all of us during that time until finish this course. I hope everyone can gain a lot of knowledge about this course. So, come back with our presentation today is study of inventory management system. As we know that inventory management is a challenging problem area in supply chain management. Companies need to have inventories in warehouse in order to fulfill customer demand. Meanwhile, these inventories have holding costs and this is frozen fund that can be lost. Therefore, the task of inventory management is to find the quality of inventories that will fulfill the demand, avoiding overstock. This paper presents a case of study for the steel manufacturing industry on inventory management. And we find some problem in company X is 1. Unorganized inventory arrangement. 2. Large amount of inventory days. No cycle counting. 3. No accurate records balance due to unskilled worker. And this paper also proved that the relationship between return on the asset ROI and inventory days, and also provide recommendation to the companies and for the future research and how to solve that using ABC classification and some demand forecasting methods. Here is our author of this paper. Let's start in brief. Inventories is stock or store of goods, independent demand items that are ready to be sold or used. Inventories are a vital part of business. It's necessary for operation and it contributes for customer satisfaction. A typical firm has roughly 30% of its current assets and as much as 19% of its working capital invested in inventories. Besides that, inventory have some important functions such as to match anticipate customer demand, to smooth production requirements, to decouple operations, to protect against stockouts, to take advantage of order cycles, to hedge against price increase, to permit operations, and the last one to take advantage of quality discount. To get this paper, some research methods were used. The first one is the data has been collected through interface and discussion with the directors working with the division. The second, some important information taken through unstructured and structured interviews of the exclusive. The third, magazines and annual reports also used for the collection of necessary information. And the last one, research papers used for the source of secondary data. We are going to data analysis and interpretation. Some techniques of inventory management and the main function of inventory management. We need to answer some questions. What are industry problems in managing inventories? Which inventories policy optimal for industry? Why? So calculation. And the last question is what should be the over level? And to answer the following question, some techniques to be used. Using ABC analysis, using economic order quality EOQ, VED analysis, reorder level, safety stock, and the inventory turnover ratio. And we using ABC analysis. You can see the graph so that the amount of raw material in 2011 is 130.35 and its degree in the 2012 is 95.65 and it increase in the 2030 is 102.37 and it decrease in the 2040 is just 30.22. And for stock in process at closing stock, the graph shows that from the 2011 to 2040 it decrease and 2012 and 2030 may be the same. You can see the number here. And it increase in 2012 and decrease in other year. And next we are using EOQ formula to calculate during the 2011 to 2012. The firm require below the given units of material for manufacturing of steel. The following are the detail of the operation. We calculate number of order for the years, total annual cost, order size, average inventories, carrying cost, ordering cost. We do the same for the next years and next years. Next, we are using VED analysis to classify the material. VED is mean virtual, essential, and desirable analysis is done mainly for control of spread parts, keeping in the view of critical to production. Next is the reorder level. The reorder level is the level of inventories at which the fresh order for that item must be placed to procure fresh supply. The reorder level depends on 1. The length of time between the placement of an order and receiving the supply. 2. The usage rate the item. The inventory is constantly being used up. The rate at which the inventory is being used up, it is called the user rate. We have two kinds of reorder points, under centrally and under uncertainly, and we have two formula here. Next slide is safety stock. We are talking about as the amount of safety stock carries increase, the risk of stock out decrease, the improved customer service level and service level, the probabilities that demand will not exceed supply during this time. The service level equal 100% minus stock out risk. And next we are research about inventory turnover ratio. So what is The radio is often a firm inventory turnover during the course of the year because inventories are the last liquid from assets. A high inventory turnover ratio is generally positive. On the other hand, an usually high ratio compared to the average for the industry could mean a business is losing sales because of inadequate stock on hand. When to use this? If a firm business has significant assets tied up with inventory, checking its turnover is critical to successful planning. If inventory is turning too slowly, it could indicate that it may be hampering the firm's cash flow. Because this ratio judges annual inventory turns, it is usually conducted on a year. And we calculate the inventory turnover ratio equal cost of goods sold divided by average value of inventories. You can see in 2011 the inventory ratio is 7.35, in 2012 is 6.46, and 2030 is 5.32, and 2040 is 5.92. We have the table, and after that we create the graph like this, and we calculate the stock level during 4 years from 2011 to 2040. We have some apply the formula. We have some calculate reorder level, safety stock, average use, and we do the same next year and next year. And this paper also has some finding and succession for the companies. You can see that one, the companies have good sales for their products during all the early years of the study. The inventory turnover ratio is on the decline trend year after year in the period of study. It indicates the inefficiency of management in turning up their inventory into sales. The company should adopt sophisticated techniques to manage its inventory in the better manner. The EOQ calculate is suggesting that the company should obtain its inventory requirement by placing orders frequently to its supplier rather than one-time replacement. The company should take measures for maintenance a proper store and separate so as to avoid the frequent breakdown of the machinery. There is a list to develop good communication system between the various departments like marketing, planning, procurement, and production and distribution function. The company should follow just-in-time techniques, thereby it can do anyway with waiting time for receipt of material. And the last one is conclusion and future works. About the conclusion, we to keep the receipt records, to complete goods to the inventory total, to contain in the finished goods inventory to account, make it possible to quickly convey information, will be seen the form of increased revenue and profits. Increase the customer satisfaction will be application of achieve results of demand forecast, safety stock, and reorder point into stimulation software in order to achieve more accurate results. About the future work, detailed study about all material were not possible because of time limits. Some of the information was kept confidential by the steel industry department. Studies were confined only to the selected components into the store department of steel companies. Comparative study may be new research problem for the future work. Okay, that's all for our presentation. Thank you for watching and listening.